lot of times, a lot of that oil gets pushed up. It's going right into the motor and you're burning it. Woo! This sounds ridiculous! What's up, guys? So if you don't know me, my name is Eric and this is Proven Power Cycles. Today we have a 2022 GSXR750 in that we actually tuned this bike previously with this slip-on system, and but he has the stock cat if you notice, but we have tuned this in the past. Now normally I don't recommend doing full tunes if you still have the cat. We can't really pull a lot of power out of it. This has a small restriction, and I did tell this customer, he was pretty adamant about tuning it regardless. And again, this was about 7-8 months ago or so. He was in the spring. We have the graphs from when we previously tuned it. I think it made about 123 wheel, but regardless, we're gonna overlay compared to what the changes that we're gonna make here today. We're gonna overlay those changes with how we tuned it last time, so at least you can see the differences between what we're doing today and everything. We're gonna probably get on the dyno tomorrow or the day after and get the tune finalized. So what we are doing, we're gonna go ahead and swap the system out. As you can see, like I said, he's got the slip-on, so he has a M4 slip-on and then a stock header with the stock catalytic converter. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna remove this system and then we're gonna install a full M4 system. And I believe he got the GP system. So it's that black metal can. We'll show you guys. We're gonna open up the box here shortly and we're gonna go through the whole thing. And the other thing that we're also gonna do is we're gonna do a chain and sprocket kit on the bike as well. So right now this is the OEM setup, and we're gonna swap this out. Now, he did purchase the parts and bring them in, so he did not get the 520 kit. He actually, he bought the 525 kit. Still a good kit, but he bought a 525. He did not get the 520. Usually we recommend going down to the 520s. Again, it kind of varies depending on the bike, the rider, kind of what they're using it for, things like that. So this is why we typically, we usually recommend people call us if they're gonna order parts and whatnot, just so either A, we can get the parts for them, or B, we can at least try to navigate them the right way. Not always the case, but for your performance needs, that's usually how we do it here at the shop. We're doing that, we're doing an oil change, and I think that's it. We're basically, so again, a little bit of maintenance with a chain and sprocket kit, and then the full exhaust. The biggie really is gonna be the full exhaust kit, considering that's gonna give him the most bang for his buck in this case, along with the retune. So now what we're gonna do, and this is what we do in times past, we're gonna go ahead and install everything, and after we get everything installed, then we're gonna throw it back on the dyno, and we're gonna go baseline it again with all the new mods, and then we're gonna go through with the full tune. So it should be interesting, and it'll be really interesting to see the air-fuel ratio with this setup tuned versus putting on the full exhaust system and just seeing it out the gate, seeing how different it's gonna be. It's gonna be pretty vast, I'm sure of it. But again, the dyno is gonna tell us, it'll let us know. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna put the camera down and get to work, start pulling this thing apart, and yeah, get some updates here. All right, guys, so the fellas are pulling off the stock system with the M4 slip-on now. Couple things I was going to go over, one of which we are going to we're going to end up unplugging that is your stock O2 sensor, so we're going to end up unplugging that. This actually goes to the exhaust butterfly system, which is located up underneath your fuel tank. And 1 second, I'm gonna give them a hand real quick. There you go, nice, beautiful. All right, woo, woo. Maybe we should weigh it. Another reason why I love going over some of these bikes, okay? A lot of people, they, now, this isn't to speak ill on this owner. This is just in general. But a lot of times people don't even know this because they're not checking all the time. After your rides, guys, and before your rides, check your oil. Look at this. And this guy is adamant about his maintenance. He was like telling us, I pride myself on my maintenance. I make sure the bike's always caught up to date on the maintenance. Look how much oil is in that bike. He is literally on the low line. So we have the rear wheel up on a stand. So really what that's gonna do is that's actually going to put a little bit more oil up in there. You're gonna see a little bit more is what I should say. So realistically, he's gonna be basically on the lowest level possible on the window. So needless to say, check your oil. Constantly check your oil, okay? Even when you think it's good, even when you're like, oh no man, I know it's good, it's only been a couple thousand miles, check your oil. What ends up happening on a lot of bikes, okay, as you're riding, let's say you're going down the street, you're rolling into first, second, whatever gear, and the bike kind of pulls up. You do like, you do a little wheelie, come back down, and you do that constantly, time and time again. Or you're doing the heavy acceleration, heavy throttle, high RPM stuff, regardless. There is a tube on the back side here. It is your crankcase breather tube. A lot of times, a lot of that oil gets pushed up. It's getting pushed up into your air box, and all you're doing is it's coming up and it's going right into the motor, and you're burning it, which goes through the exhaust and out of the bike, okay? So a lot of times you're gonna burn a lot of excess oil. You're gonna end up burning it out of the system. Or it's gonna get, like I said, or it's gonna be sitting in your air box. Literally, it's gonna either sit in your air box or you're gonna burn it and it's gonna go out the system, okay? It happens. So that's why I tell people constantly, check your oil, okay? I'm glad we're doing this. I'm glad we're doing an oil change on this, and I'm glad we're doing all the other work on it so we can catch things like this before he hits the dyno. Because I can guarantee you, if we had this bike on the dyno and we were running it at that oil level, we're blowing that motor up. We're gonna oil starve it, we're gonna spin a rod bearing, and the motor's gonna seize, or we're gonna have a rod knock, and it's gonna be a mess. He's gonna be upset, we're gonna be upset, obviously. So this is why we check the oil regardless. Even when you're on the dyno, even if we weren't doing this, we'd be checking his oil to make sure that he had plenty of oil so that we could run on the dyno safely without locking a motor up. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna keep getting busy. It's getting a little chilly here. We're gonna try to keep wrapping everything up. Lewis and Cam have got the chain and sprocket kit pretty much all wrapped up. We're getting ready to weigh this exhaust. All right, we got 17.5 pounds for the stock header with that M4 slip-on. So not too bad. We're going to go ahead and weigh the M4 system next. All right, guys. So here is Cam, our lovely assistant. He is he's gonna go ahead and we're gonna weigh this exhaust for you guys. So if you notice, I just want to show you, this is Cam's weight. We weighed him before this and we tarred it all out. Tarred, whatever. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and weigh the exhaust. So go ahead, Cam, go ahead and step on the scale. All right, we are sitting at 11 pounds and 3.8 ounces. What is that, a 5 pound difference? Shaving 5 pounds? That's not bad. Yeah, shaving about 5 solid pounds. That's pretty good. Off an exhaust system that already has a slip on, by the way. That's not an OEM muffler. Chain and sprocket kit is on. It is looking good. We got a Vortex steel rear, EK3D chain. It is a 525 still, and he went up 2 in the rear. So we'll have a better, it has better O-rings in the chain, and that steel sprocket is lighter than the OEM one. However, it's not gonna be a drastic difference. Really what you wanna do is go down to the 520. Again, this is dependent upon rider weight and the way you're gonna ride the bike and what you're looking for. So, anyway, we sized that all up according to the rider. So he could have gotten away with a 520 conversion on this bike. He didn't know. I always recommend you guys call us and ask us if you guys have any questions, so that way we can either answer them or help you out, at least guide you along the way whenever you're building your bike or trying to get it set up for street racing or aggressive street riding or whatever, road track racing, drag racing. So we can at least help you guys out with your setups. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and keep moving and get this exhaust installed, and then we'll get it on the dyno. All right, guys. So on the 2022 GSXR750, we got the M4 system and the oil change all wrapped up. Well, Lewis and Cam did. So right now what we wanted to do, we wanted to just fire it up and get a sound check real quick, make sure everything looks good, make sure we don't have any exhaust leaks, you know the drill. We're gonna go through it real quick. Got nice fresh Motul oil, 7100. And yeah, everything looks like it's up to date. Man, I love doing 750s. This is one of my favorite platforms for the street bikes. All right, let's go ahead and crank it. So guys, I've said this in previous videos, but whenever you do a fresh new exhaust system, it's gonna smoke. And even if you wipe it down, just the solution that you're using to wipe it all down with, when you crank that bike up for the first time, it's gonna burn off all those liquids, all those chemicals. So it's gonna smoke a little bit. So just keep that in your mind. All right guys, so we have the GSXR750 on the dyno now. It's got the full M4 installed. Don't mind the dyno. We did just get back from the track, so it's a little messy. We still got tools pulled out. But we have the 525 kit on here. You got a Vortex kit with the EK3D chain. And then here's the M4. This thing came out sexy. We just did a heat cycle through it, so we got the bike warmed up, so it's ready for the dyno. We are going to do the, we're going to go ahead and do a new baseline on it now, and then what we're going to end up doing, obviously, we're going to go through the full tune again. Now, this does have a tune on it, just to let you guys know, so it's not a true baseline. It's honestly what I'm doing is I'm just going to see how close the other tune was with the stock system. So this will be a little interesting just to see. But we're gonna run that tune, so it's already de-restricted and it's already got a few little you know, ignition timing and things like that kind of put into the bike already. So we're gonna see just kind of how it does with that mapping already. So the bike's warmed up. I'm gonna jump on it and do a pass real quick. Guys, so we got the numbers all laid out on that GSXR750 and it came out exactly as I expected. I've done quite a few of these, so I have these down pretty much to a science as far as you know, what's going to make what kind of power, and I see it consistently now with certain setups. This platform has been around for a long time, as you guys know, and not only that, but this particular engine, they haven't really changed it, I want to say, since like 2008 or 2009. Yeah. This motor has basically stayed the exact same since then, so the numbers are pretty predictable as far as for us. So we want to just go over it real quick. So here was the baseline here, and we're at 116, almost basically 117 wheel. Most of the time I see that between 117 and 118 and 50 foot-pounds of torque. And then here it is, air fuel was real lean. And this is extremely lean, so this is all the emission stuff that you're typically going to see with these types of bikes. 14.8, 14.9, 14.5. We're very, very, very lean, basically all the way through almost the entire RPM range with this setup. And then we're going to go ahead and pull this up. We had now this is when he was previously here. We had a slip-on installed, and then we tuned with the slip-on, okay? So we clean this up a bunch, right? And you see nice clean air fuels across the bottom. And here was the final here with 123.5 and 53 foot-pounds of torque. Now there's a small restriction up top. We take out that restriction and we also manipulate, obviously, fueling, timing, some of the other odds and ends. So we were able to obtain a nice 123 wheel horsepower, which is really good gains for a slip-on while still retaining the catalytic converter. So fast forward to just recently here, and now we have the full system, the full M4, and we're at 132. So we picked up 9 wheel and 3 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty substantial
with a full exhaust, you know, to get it all dialed in here. So we started at 114, he ended at 123 last time, and then with this full exhaust, this full M4 system, now we're at 132 wheel. So a good 9 wheel, almost 10 wheel gain. That's very substantial for a full exhaust system. And we didn't have any power loss anywhere. We had straight gains throughout the entire RPM range. This is very usable power. It's a very linear power band. I love this type of bike. These bikes are a ton of fun in the street. And then here we'll check on the AFRs for all you sticklers out there. And again, we have a lot of little bumps here and there, but again, we clean that up with the final tunes. We usually add a little bit of percentage of fuel if we see any little lean spots here and there. We typically just throw in a couple of percent right at the end. No reason to keep running the bike and beating on it. I usually just call it and get it off the dyno for the customer. You're not gonna feel, and you're not gonna see any major changes between a like a 2% correction. That's very, very subtle. It's very minute, you know, that can change with temperature basically. So, but again, we just do this on the final pass. And yeah, so that way, again, we're making sure you guys have a nice, safe bike. And you can enjoy it with a really smooth power band, really fun power band.
We really appreciate you watching this video. If you could take a second to please like, subscribe, comment on the in the section down below. Tell us what you think of the bike. Tell us what you think of the video. If you guys have a GSXR750, let us know what you guys are experiencing with your bike. If you had a good experience with other ECU flashes like mail-in flashes or other dyno tunes, let us know. Drop a comment down below. Let's have a discussion. Again, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our growth. We really appreciate it, and be safe. Have a good one. We'll see you on another episode.